Well, folks, hello. My name is Connor Daly. Current IndyCar fan and podcaster for one of my favorite racing series on the planet, if not my favorite, the NTT IndyCar series. I think a lot of people might be tuning into this episode because of some news that came out this week. And you're exactly right. I want to talk about that dang Oregon Duck that held up that terrible sign that was cursing the Indy 500, saying it was the Walmart F1. Horrific decision.
Terrible.
I am no longer a fan of Oregon football. I will ride with the Indy 500 until the day I die. I think that was uncalled for. Now, I do love a bit of banter back and forth, but this seemed a little bit uncalled for. However, I'm glad Oregon thought of us. However, Oregon does have an IndyCar race. So I'm a little bit sad that the Oregon Duck did not think about our great Portland race, our fantastic IndyCar fans that are out there. Feels like a little bit of a low blow.
It was a huge blow.
That was
huge
a shame.
Blow.
But
it really has got me to where I don't even know if I want to throw bread at ducks, dude. Like
I know.
I'm at a point.
Like these, nope, I'm out on ducks. Yeah, I'm out on ducks.
Who needs them?
But shout out Pat McAfee for calling the winner. IU takes down Portland. IU takes down the Oregon Ducks. Not Portland specifically. But I also went to Twitter and I fought with some college football fans. Now, if there's one part of Twitter that really gets after each other, boy, is it college sports fans. And I went into it. I got down and dirty with them. They were obviously telling me all of these things that I knew about my career and saying how bad I was. And I was like, guess who still lost? Oregon football. And I'm not even, look, I like Indiana as a state. I didn't go to college. So I'm not an Indiana Hoosier. My brother went to Purdue. But I like Indiana colleges, all of them. I'm going to go with all of them.
Killing it right now, dude.
That just felt good.
Credit.
That felt good to see the Hoosiers take down Oregon after that unnecessary shot at our wonderful event. Anyway, that was funny to banter with people. We love a bit of sports banter. We're not really like people were saying that we were soft. No, but we will defend our territory. We will absolutely defend our territory, especially when it's against F1.
Yes.
So anyway, we had to mention that right off the gate. That was really funny to see a lot of internet interactions there. But there was also other news that recently came out today. And we've got an IndyCar test to talk about. There was an IndyCar test literally yesterday. And if you didn't know that Mick Schumacher was testing, you were probably spending time in jail or in a coffin because if as long as you lived and breathed, you probably were going to see something about Mick Schumacher testing, and that was very cool. Cool moment. His dad was my hero growing up. Very, very cool. So we have some results to overreact to. Obviously, we know to always overreact to testing results. We will definitely do that. And we have an interview with the IndyNXT champ and now IndyCar driver Dennis Hauger, who was fastest at the test yesterday. So it's almost like talking to a race winner. He won the test.
True.
And there's a new driver at Hunkos Hollinger Racing, which I have just discovered today. But I think I pretty much knew that since August. It was never really told to me, but we know these things. But that is a situation that is very sensitive currently. There's a lot of releases out there that or a lot of press that said that I was being replaced, which again, I have not been told that directly. So I actually don't know what to say. All I will say is that they announced Rinus as the lead driver, which is wild because I've never seen an IndyCar team announce anyone as like the lead driver.
Right.
Because that's not really, that's sort of Formula One-ish. And I don't know, if I was the other driver on that team, now you're already relegated. That seems like an odd thing to say, but again, fair. Rinus is very good. And I am happy for Rinus because Rinus deserves a very good ride. I think, I thought Rinus should have been at Penske. I think that would have been awesome. But Rinus VeeKay and his manager pretty much lived in our trailer during, not Rinus himself, but his manager pretty much lived in our trailer during Nashville. So you can pick up on things as a driver, and I've seen. I would say I will have a lot to say about this, and if you really knew all of the situation going on, well, it would probably do some things in your mind that might hurt. And so I'm going to talk about that at a later time. Now is not the time. Now we're going to be like, hey, I currently have not been told anything about my future. Clearly, it doesn't look like, that my future is set in stone at all yet. There was no mention of Stingray in the press release today. Where I'm just only going off of what I see. However, his management say that he's obviously there. And I've been communicating with Brad Hollinger and Ricardo Brad a little bit more, and have had some great conversations with that race team. So I obviously am very thankful with whatever happens. I am very thankful for the chance to do my job. I think I am harshly judged more than anyone else on results. And the one thing that I can say is when I was replaced by an IndyCar champion and Indy 500 champion at ECR, it only went worse for that car. So now again, my haters love just saying I was trash, all this stuff. It's just not true. Like if you actually look deep into it and see what's going on, the amount of issues that we had this year at certain places, for sure, I understand that ovals have always looked better. I can't really get my way around that other than this trophy behind me, and my best finish in IndyCar is from a street course. Like I can keep saying that for as much as you want, but and there's a lot of times that you have to look a little deeper to see what's going on. And I am still so appreciative of the chance to be back in IndyCar, even though we did not have a full budget this year. We did not have enough money to really do it. But we shall see what happens in the future. I think there are still some open seats in this championship should I need to go elsewhere. But those chances are definitely dwindling. I really only see one open seat, if anything. So we will see what happens. Chase, yeah. This is a sensitive topic. We don't really. I am overall. Rinus is my friend. I think he's a very good driver.
Yeah.
I would like to work with him as a teammate. Will I get that chance? I don't know. But him as a teammate he's a great teammate to work with. He's also learned a lot over the years.
It'd be cool to see a reunion like that too. I mean, you guys raced together at ECR, and I mean, if you haven't had any official word by anybody, I mean, what can you really do? If you look outside of that situation, like you said, we know right now, and what everyone else knows is that there's an open seat at Foyt and there's an open seat at Dale Coyne Racing. So, I mean, you seeing this news today, though, I mean, is the big thing. And I think that, especially for our listeners and everybody out there, like the fact that you don't know anything about this or really didn't hear anything about it is the biggest shock, really, is the biggest surprising part of it. Because you would think that would be prior discussed thing.
I knew it was going to happen. Like I think everyone knew it was going to happen. I think, and I don't want to say anything that, is out of line, because to be honest, this is a tough game. If you heard some of the things that I've heard over the last month and a half, you might go crazy. And it's hard sometimes to not go crazy, but I got a chance to compete with a great group of people, a group of people that was learning a lot, a young technical group, a group that has a bright future. Yeah. And, the release today said that they are invested in doing things, at a high level. And that's exactly what I remember being told too. So, I would love to be, that is a group, especially with Rinus, that, I'd love to be working with. And I obviously, I don't know what's going to happen yet. So that's all that I can really say. But it's been really difficult I won't lie. This offseason has been the worst, even worse than I would say last year or well, 2 years ago when I was just doing the 500 with Dreyer. Cause I was like, hey, this is cool. I knew that there wasn't really any open seats anyway. And I didn't have I didn't have a big sponsor or anything yet. And Dreyer were ready to help me out and ready to hire me right out the gate. And that was just cool. I was like, hey, this is fine. Right. But we have a great sponsor right now. It's not a full budget sponsor, but it is, a great sponsor in ARCO and AMPM. And, we need to be able to have them on track. I think for the benefit of the series, to have a major partner that's like real brands such as AMPM, ARCO. I mean, those are real things and a big company. So,
and they also just got their first win in NASCAR this past
they did,
weekend.
Denny Hamlin. Great, similar, that was awesome to see for AMPM.
60th.
Our same guy who helped out on my program is a part of that deal. So it's great for, their racing program is stronger than ever. So, we really want to be able to let our partners know that the future is bright. And so we're trying to make every call that we can to figure out what we can do. And I find it crazy that we have as reputable of a brand as we do, and we haven't really locked anything in yet. So we're going to keep working on that. There's a lot more that I absolutely cannot tell you, but I will at some point, maybe even in my book someday, because goodness gracious, this is...
What's the title of that going to be?
Just, I don't know, how to not want to jump off a bridge in motorsport. That might be the title of it, like how to avoid jumping off of a bridge while being an IndyCar driver. So but anyway, happy for Renus, happy for the team. I hope to continue to work with the team, and if not, then then we'll figure it out. We usually do, but I would say my sliver of hope is becoming minimal. You cannot operate on hopes and dreams, but we are going to still keep our hope alive. We are going to keep our faith in the system. We're going to try to work on some things. I've got some great partners behind us that we are going to make sure we represent for well next year, I hope. And we'll go from there. But that was big news to drop. And let's get into some IndyCar testing. That was happening yesterday. Dennis Hauger was fastest. We had Mick Schumacher testing as well, which was cool. That was something that, again, I don't know. I really don't know if that's going to end up being a seat for him. I think the third Rahal seat has often been talked about as being available. But again, these seats can't be funded by hopes and dreams. Like someone has to pay for Renus' seat at JHR. I was told that, that someone has to be behind that. And again, Mick, if he was very good, he was third quickest in the afternoon, great. But if they really want to support him, they're still going to find some way to run that. And to go through the official times, it was Dennis Hauger, Alex Rossi, Mick Schumacher, Cal Collette, who seems to be getting ever closer to that Foyt seat, Lockie Hughes, Christian Rasmussen, and then James Rowe in the JHR car, the number 76. He was out there as well. So, I mean, the coolest thing was actually just seeing Mick out there. That was cool. Mick Schumacher, obviously big name, family name. Obviously, the Schumacher name is legendary. But do I think that's going to end up in an IndyCar seat for him? I actually don't think so. I don't think it will. But we've seen a lot of other, like Nico Hulkenberg testing an F1 car before. We've seen other people of recent years kind of come in and check it out. So I don't know. It was cool. A lot of social content. Chase.
He seemed to be really comfortable too. I think the big thing for me, and I had put this out in a post yesterday, like I've seen, I know how big of a name his father is, but I've seen a lot of stuff online where his dad would kind of like talk down to IndyCar a lot of the time. So like he was like one of the guys, I guess, that I never expected to see like attempt it, maybe just because of that. But at the end of the day, you got to remember, just because your dad said something doesn't mean you're your dad. And it's one of those deals though where his name is huge, and if we were to look at a future where he was, you know, getting a seat, I think him being at RLL with kind of like the big presence they have there, obviously the lore they have with IndyCar, having Letterman involved, and then having a name like him, because I think that the news has really been like, we've heard rumors about RLL and about them potentially maybe wanting to look at selling a charter, which I don't know if there's any ground to that or not. And then people are already speculating now with Devlin. I've saw posts on that earlier today. But the reality has to set in at some point, and especially when you're watching the series as closely as someone like you and myself and a lot of other people, you kind of know that this is just kind of like, hey, come get a feel for it.
Absolutely.
See what it's like. Keep the story going in the off season. But I think that the big one is what Dennis was able to do, him topping the charts, and we don't want to overreact too much. But when you watch some of his races in IndyNXT this year, and it was great to get to talk to him too on the show, you'll see that he seems like he's really the most equipped coming out of that series right now to potentially get some really good runs. The partnership with Dale Coyne Racing this year, I'm excited to watch him, because typically you don't see somebody with as much just like consistency, I guess, like that. And I don't know, what's the last driver we've seen really come in with that type of consistency to be able to do these things? I
mean, you know, Kyle Kirkwood was IndyNXT champ, so you know he was obviously very good, and he proved it right out the gate. But I think Dennis, I mean, he is absolutely well set up to be successful. And he came from Formula 2, and Formula 2 is a very fast, very good car. So I think he's completely ready for it. And I think he is without a doubt not the most prepared, because again, he doesn't have a lot of oval experience, but he is ready. He is absolutely ready for it. But yeah, we've seen very good IndyNXT champions come out and be successful right out the gate. You know, Linus Lundqvist is probably the guy who hasn't fully got, I mean, well, to be fair, he did a whole season with Ganassi, and he did. And sadly that wasn't enough, but Linus was good. He was, you know, he had a chance though in the best car with the best team, the best teammates, and it wasn't enough. So, you know, Kyle Kirkwood got in. Part of me thinks that might actually be bad. I think that if you're an IndyNXT champion, we actually saw this a little bit with Sage Karam. Sage Karam got into IndyCar as a young driver right with Ganassi. And you know, you make some mistakes as rookies and you have some difficulties, and he never really got a chance again to be full-time. And you look at Kyle Kirkwood, he was a Foyt, struggled. You know, he had a couple good races, but you know, if you put those results up against anyone else, it's like, oh, well, that if you judge his results like you judge mine, some of these people, you'd be like, that guy's trash too. But he was not. Kyle Kirkwood is very good. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to learn. And I think with Linus Lundqvist going straight to Ganassi, that was tough. Tough to immediately be held to such a high standard. So I think this is actually a really good place for Dennis Hauger to be, is DCR with a partnership with Andretti Global. I think that's very helpful for him.
Yeah, he'll get to climb that ladder.
Yeah, I think it's better to start like that. So there was a lot going on test wise. It was great to see all the content. There was a test obviously at Mid-Ohio that happened where there was some crashing going on, a lot of crashing there. I don't know if we really talked about that much, but a lot of drivers crashed at the Mid-Ohio test, including Dennis Hauger. But again, IndyCar is hard. So guess what? Sometimes that stuff happens. One other thing that I think we should really just talk a little bit about, and I don't know if you read much of this, Chase, but the Alex Palou and McLaren legal battle is going on currently.
I've been keeping up.
And if you really want to be entertained, there is a lot of documents that the truth about our sport comes out, and who pays for what and how much is that worth. And a lot of people are like, oh, is Nolan Siegel paying for certain things? That stuff, I think some people listen to me like that and they're like, there's no way that actually happens. Oh, it happens. It happens. Like every seat's for sale at some point. You know what I mean? And so that's nothing against Nolan. Like he was able to do it. But again, there is a little bit of a difference in the championship performances between him and his teammates. But a lot of the comments in that court filing and all of the documents that come out, I just honestly hope everyone that listens to this show, just take some time to read it, because I think this sport behind the scenes is so much different than what people see publicly. And it makes me a little sad sometimes. Now, Zach Brown has always been great to me. You know, he gave me a chance to substitute for Marcus Ericsson in 2019. And they, all the people at McLaren have honestly been really cool to me, including Tony Kanaan. And Alex Palou, oddly enough, is one of my better friends. I train with Alex Palou. So this is a difficult thing to read. But just as someone on the outside, just looking at this information, you're like, I just hate that this is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate that there's this disagreement going on. I hate that there's this type of discourse. Some of the comments that get thrown out about drivers, even like Alex Rossi taking strays about, what they were offering. And there's just a lot in there that I hope you read, because it definitely is just a crazy situation to have this type of information leaked out to the public, right? Same with the Denny Hamlin and 2311 lawsuit with NASCAR. There's so much conversation. There's so many text messages and emails that were never meant to be public out in the public. And so it's fascinating to get a look into that stuff. And I hope you folks, if you want to just be entertained and kind of see, oh wow, this sport is messy, I would say at a lot of the times this sport is very messy behind the scenes, and I wish it wasn't, but it is.
I think that the thing that's been the funnest to kind of watch is just the F1 fans interacting with IndyCar fans, and maybe the F1 fans not really understanding the landscape of IndyCar, and IndyCar fans maybe knowing a little bit more about F1. So I think it's like it really has turned into, I think public narrative at the least has turned into a Alex Palou versus the system type of trial, It is. And what's funny to me, and I know you saw this, is like in the middle of all of this going on, there's a ton happening. Alex rolls up on Sunday to the Colts game.
I didn't even know he was in America.
Just not stressed, breaks it, does the anvil, does all that stuff. And like, that was the funniest moment for me. I'm like, dog's not stressed. He's good. He's just out here. And I think it's because like when any court case or anything that is involved in the legal system that gets publicly like splattered out, you're going to have that I guess the words from the public, from everyone and their perception of it. And that sometimes can push things in different directions. But with kind of all the documents, and I've read through some of them briefly, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've been a scholar and read everything word for word, but it does seem like we're entering a place now where this is good for race fans, because race fans having a little more transparency can allow people to maybe see through a different lens for the first time. And I think that seeing a lot of the public kind of taking Alex's side on this is not always a bad thing. I mean, there are always things that can be changed and can be different going into the future, and maybe that what is happening now will result in a better future for racing on all levels. So
yeah, I mean, the interesting thing about our sport is if you look at the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, I think every major sport has some form of like players, like not union, but just like an association or that helps look after the players. IndyCar, right. We don't have anything like that. We don't have, a minimum salary. We don't have no type of, health benefits or retire, like 401k set up by the sport that we're into, the teams that we play for. You know what I mean? That's all on us. And I think a lot of the times, I don't think it'll ever happen. You know what I mean? I think drivers.
What would it take for that to happen?
It would never happen. Again, there's when you look at the amount of NFL teams and NBA teams and MLB teams, and then how many players per team, that's thousands of people. You know what I mean? Whereas like there's 33 of us. You know what I mean? There's even F1 has the GPDA, the Grand Prix Drivers Association. But IndyCar, I just don't think we're in a powerful enough position to have something like that. And I think something at least should be thought about to try to take care of some contract legitimacy. Like a lot of these contracts that we see now are not even respected. I can't even count how many contracts have probably been breached. But it's like, we get it.
And that's a scary feeling because you're constantly in this pool of risk,
Yeah. And at the end of the day, when we go out there as drivers, like we are the ones who are risking the most by doing what we love to do and trying to deliver for our teams. But again, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I think sometimes there's some thoughts to like, hey, it's a shame to see litigation have to break out. You know what I mean? Like we don't. It's a shame to see that, and I hate it for both parties because again, all the folks at McLaren have always been really good to me, Zach and Tony and everyone over there, Sam Schmidt when he was there as well, and Alex Palou is one of my great friends. But it's just messy, and honestly, if you want to be entertained because you need IndyCar stuff, just get in there, read some of the stuff, and see and formulate your own opinion, right? Because there's a lot of things that have come out that are very interesting to talk about.
On a lighter note, the artist was doing some of the guys.
Oh yeah, the artist George.
Yeah, they made Alex Palou's neck really thin. I will say that. Dude's got a little bit more. They gave him a little more credit than that. You got to kind of have a thick neck to race IndyCar. It's true.
Yes. And then McLaren also today, we just saw, thankfully, a lot of people are announcing news today, so we can talk about it on the show. Thank God. Enzo Fittipaldi, so Pietro Fittipaldi's little brother, he has he's been racing everything really, but mainly F2 and done a lot of different testing. So he's going to test for Aero McLaren at Sebring on Wednesday. So he's going to use one of their evaluation days. A lot of these drivers, again, you folks have to realize that these teams get an extra day as a driver evaluation day. A lot of the times it's for IndyNXT drivers, but it could also be for folks that haven't raced Indy cars before. So like Penske uses it with Felipe Nasr. They apparently are developing him every year, which is really not true, but they can use it because he hasn't raced an Indy car yet. And it's the same with Enzo. They're going to do a test day. They get an extra test day. Same with James Rowe with JHR this week. And Lockie Hughes, guys like that. So, and Mick Schumacher. I mean, that counts as an evaluation day. So they get an extra day. And the team also, though, made sure to say that their drivers for next year are Pato O'Ward, Nolan Siegel, and Christian Lundgaard, because there's a lot of craziness going on right now, and you want to make sure that everyone's got their stuff together. So something interesting. I think these next couple weeks are going to be very interesting. I feel like we've pretty much put out almost everything that's going on. I am struggling to even see what's happening tomorrow. Like it's been such a crazy last few weeks. I'm just not entirely sure what's going on. However, thankfully I can put that aside because this week I'm racing something. And if you aren't aware, I'm doing the Indy 8-hour at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for Random Vandals Racing, a BMW team that I raced this race with last year. My teammates, Connor DeFilippi, who just won Petit Le Mans last weekend, and Ken Cook, he's won a bunch of stuff this year. He's very, very fast. So very thankful for that chance. That is a team owner who believes in me and who has believed in me since day one. A team owner that has seen the championships that I've won, has seen what I've done throughout my whole career, and has known the backside of what's gone on at all the teams that I've been with, and has been, without a doubt, faithful to me and believes that I know what I'm doing. And so I love that. Love that that this team pays me to show up and race. That's exactly what you want to be able to do. And it's going to be fun this weekend, I hope. Weather's starting to look a little crazy. Could be a little chilly, a little rainy. Could be warm. It's supposed to be like 75, but then rainy, and then Sunday it's going to be cold, so who knows? But
is Keanu Reeves coming back?
I don't know. Great question. I'm not sure if Keanu Reeves is going to be there that weekend, but the race will be available. You can watch it on YouTube, I believe, which is really cool about this series. You don't need to pay to watch it. It's on the YouTube channel. I believe the Fanatec GT3 series, whatever it is, GT World Challenge YouTube page. You can figure it out somewhere. Just be like Indianapolis 8-hour live stream. And I just found out as well, and this is for the true Connor Daly nerds, our car's onboard of the whole race is live streamed the whole time.
Nice.
So you can watch us racing live the whole time, live in car and timing at sro.vbrick.com, vbrick.com. sro.vbrick.com is where you can stream timing and our live in-car camera for the race, which is awesome. And that's thanks to our team and SRO and the folks for getting that set up. And VBrick has been a longtime partner of mine at different races, but that's Paul Sparta, who owns the Random Vandals racing team, is CEO of VBrick. So very, very cool. Very, very excited to be able to share that with you folks. Tune in. Yeah. Could be in the middle of the morning, could be in the middle of the day, maybe even at night. Hopefully we have a chance to win it, which would be awesome. So after that, I will get back to trying not to shove my head through a piece of drywall and figuring out how to be an IndyCar driver again, because I have a lot that I believe I can still do, and we'll see what happens. So anything else, Chase, that you think we got to get to before we get to Dennis Hauger? I feel like we covered most things. We got mad at Oregon. We covered all kinds of testing news. Oh, the Malucas Newgarden video.
Yes.
We got to talk about that.
I was waiting to see if you were going to remember that. So they were basically, it was him and Joseph, and it kind of had Bus Bros vibes.
It did have Bus Bros vibes.
So I'm not sure. They're interviewing children and asking them questions. I like that they kind of took a page out of my book with the photos now. They're bringing photos. They're holding photos and doing comparisons. So that anything with David Malucas and the internet could be fun. And if we get to see a little bit more of that like 2014, 2015-esque Joseph Newgarden resurface, I'm here for it. I'm not going to lie. I think that Joseph Newgarden, when he's in that light, playful mood, that's one of the best Joseph Newgardens.
The funny thing that I thought was, it looks like that was recorded at the Portland race weekend. And what, David Malucas and Joseph Newgarden were just already, acting as teammates, not wearing team shirts.
Right.
That Penske deal was done a long time ago. And so I think that
I don't think nobody's surprised by that.
It's kind of wild to release that, like, when you know that you've recorded it at Portland, and you're like, Will won that race.
Let's just rub this in your faces,
man. That's wild. Again, in the racing world, you hear these rumors, and some of them are so far from being true, but some of them, they come from a place of true knowledge.
Deep
and
speculation.
This one didn't seem, it was almost so hard to believe that you were trying to fight it in your mind. Even Alex Rossi told me, like, 4 days before the Malucas announcement, he's like, no, it's Renus for sure. And I'm like, dude, it's not. And so, but some people thought, thought that was the case. So
I think that's the wildest thing here.
They were recording videos in Portland together.
Yeah, they're recording videos in Portland. But I think the wildest thing is just like, you guys, like for the fans, they're always like, it's like, you guys are kind of in the same boat sometimes. Yeah. And so, like, give drivers a little bit of credit when it comes to trying to spill news, because not everybody knows these things. Not everybody understands what's happening. But the Malucas thing, that's been a rumor for like 2 years, dude. So
yeah.
I feel like it was pretty easy, but kudos to them. Hopefully we see more wild shenanigans out of those two.
Yeah, maybe some great content ahead. But anyway, I thought that was, I definitely wanted to get to that, because I was like, oh my gosh, the timing of this is very interesting. So yeah, that was a good one. We're doing our research. We're trying to figure some things out. And when it comes to, what I'm doing, folks, I appreciate you, all of you folks, for listening to this, no matter what. We're coming to the last couple of episodes of this show, and honestly, in the future, I want this show to continue, but we actually need some things to happen for this show too, for it to continue. So just keep your fingers and toes crossed for sponsorship on all ends, and we'll go from there. But with that, let's get to our IndyNXT champion, a driver who is very talented, a driver who I've been looking forward to talking to, a Norwegian Viking, potentially. I love Norwegians, great people. And this
Vikings
is
are cool too.
A very, very fast driver. So here is the Dale Coyne Racing driver with Andretti Global TWG Motorsport Partnership, Dennis Hauger. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this week we finally have another new guest on our show, someone who literally destroyed everyone else in the IndyNXT field, a driver who came from Europe, the Formula One ladder system, a driver who is now an IndyCar driver, the IndyNXT champion from Norway. A lot of great drivers from Norway that people need to respect. I raced against one of them a long, long time ago named Anders Krohn, very good friend of mine. But this is the next Norwegian superstar, Dennis Hauger. We appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Not too bad. Just had the IndyCar test yesterday and back home today. So having a lot of fun over here.
So first of all, do you live in Indy now? Are you an Indy resident, or where are you at in the States?
Yeah, I live in Indy. Everyone told me to go up in Carmel, so that's where I'm at right now. And I've stayed there for about a year, so I'm enjoying it.
There you go. That's where all the cool kids go. I get it. I love that. So obviously you were on track. You've been on track twice already. You were announced very recently as the Dale Coyne Racing driver in this partnership with Andretti. Obviously you've got a great relationship with the folks over at Andretti, TWG, Dan Taurus, that group that I think is, well, they're very smart people and they're very good people. And a lot of those folks at the IndyNXT team as well, very smart people. Especially some of their engineers. Was your engineer Andy? Very tall Andy?
Yeah.
Andy is one of my favorite people in the entire motorsport world. He was my engineer when I was there in 2019 at the Indy 500. Still one of the smartest people I've ever worked with in my life. So I love that. But give us a summary of this year. It was obviously a new adventure for you, but you came in and absolutely dominated.
Yeah, it was a good year. I mean, coming over here, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew I had one goal, and that was to win the championship, but that's easier said than done, right? But yeah, coming over from Europe to the States, getting to meet the team, Andretti, work with my engineer, Andy, which I really enjoyed, by the way. He's such a good guy, really smart guy, and he has such a hard work ethic, which I really love this year. We just kept working every weekend to get the results, and that really paid off. But no, it's been really natural coming over here, a bit different, but I've been really enjoying it. The atmosphere and just the environment in the paddock is a bit different and nicer, in my opinion. So just had a blast this year, and obviously it helps when it's going well. Just been feeling really natural with the car, and every track's been new, and obviously a new car for me this year as the rookie, but I think we really nailed it and just kept working hard. And in the end, we got the championship. So it's been an unbelievable year and more than I could hope for in the end, to be fair.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this is honestly, for folks listening to the show, this is really the first time we've got to interact. I just sent you a message. I was like, hey, we'd like to have you on the show because we got to talk to the champ. And now you're an IndyCar driver, and this is an IndyCar show. We like to talk about IndyCar racing. But I want to go back to a little bit of your journey kind of overseas because it's a very difficult road. I did the F3 thing, went to F2 for a little bit, GP2 at the time. And I know the microscope that you're under over there, how challenging it is. You were even part of the Red Bull program. And we interviewed Jaime Alguersuari on this show a year ago. And obviously, Red Bull Formula One driver, really fascinating to learn a little bit more about the system and how it works as a Red Bull driver. I want to know what that was like, first of all, and how difficult that was mentally to, I guess, lose that and then figure out what to do next.
Yeah, I mean, for sure it was an experience of a lifetime. I mean, I started with Red Bull when I was 14. Just turned 15 going into Formula 4. And it was always a bit up and down for me. Like first year in Formula 4, I finished like fourth in the championship, had a few issues, but I was always up there fighting. And then I was almost dropped by Red Bull at that point. And then next year I came into Formula 4, won everything and got back into it. And then I got up to F3, had a pretty shit year, to be honest, and almost got dropped again. And then came in next year, won F3.
And it takes 2 years. People love to hate on people after their first year. I've seen this happen. Like I did the same. I did 3 years in F3, and Lewis Hamilton did 2 years in F2. Like this happens. Lewis Hamilton, one of the best ever. Oh, it took him 2 years to win the F2 championship. Like these things happen.
Yeah, it's a hard route, and honestly, like everything I've been in since I was young, I've managed to win the championship, and F2 was kind of my killer over there. Just couldn't quite nail it with the car and figure it out. You know, the driving style, it's quite different from F4 and F3. It's a lot heavier, and I would say compared to what I've done, like sim work on F1, it's quite different in that way as well. So for me, it was kind of a struggle. Obviously, quite a few years there that was hard and tough mentally. I always try to reset, go again. And to be fair, I had some good races. I got like 5 victories, but I always struggled to get the consistency for the championship, which was tough. So, getting that last year in F2 and then figuring out what to do next. Like I had the option to do another year, but you know how it is. There's not really a point to do another year. And for me, it was trying to figure out what's the best for my next step in the career. Go endurance racing, Formula E, IndyCar, IndyNXT. Like, what are the options? We were looking at IndyCar for a while, actually, but I think when you don't really have the name over here, the same way as in Europe, it's hard to find a seat without big sponsors as well, and we don't have that kind of money. So for me, looking at IndyNXT and the opportunities it brings, it was a really cool path. So it was something I was really eager to do. But in the end, you got to do the work and you got to get the results. That's what matters in the end of the day. But I was really happy that we were able to achieve it in the end. But it was kind of a mixed feeling in the off season there what to do. But I'm really happy. Like as soon as I got to the first test, I was really happy with the choice we made, and just kind of a refresh and a restart for my mind to getting into something new. That was really nice.
Yeah, and you did a great job. I mean, you won the championship. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. And yeah, coming from the F2 world, I mean, gosh, I know, I mean, this is before it became so popular, but it's a challenging place, and the cars they're big and fast, and they are heavier and much more of a challenge. But what was that like a little bit working close to F1? Like you're in the sim, you're doing some of the work over there, you're getting to know some of those guys. Right now, Formula One is at its a higher level than it's ever been before. And so obviously you could see that. What was that like for you? Did you learn a lot from the simulator work? Did you learn a lot from a lot of those guys over there? And do you think that helped you now where you're at in your career?
For sure. I mean, I never got to do a Formula One test, which was kind of a bummer. I feel like I deserved that a lot more than a few others, but just working on the sim, being up in the middle of the night in the F1 sim while they were racing in Japan, doing like prep work in between the sessions, and just working with a lot of different really good people and smart people was for sure a really good experience for me. That sim that they have is pretty crazy. It's like in a big hall, moving around 360 degrees, and it's just insane, man. But it was really good experiences that I could take with me into the next step. And for sure, I think, bringing that experience over to the States now has been a good thing. I think it's prepared me more for just getting to learn the tracks quickly, using the simulator as a tool as well, to get up to speed on the tracks quickly. And I think also going into IndyCar, just already having worked with a really professional team on a high level, for sure, it can't hurt, at least. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this Andretti relationship that you guys have had. It's been something to where once they see you succeed, you're winning, you're the championship favorite, you're going to win the championship. Did that relationship start to develop to where you had faith that these guys were going to take care of you? It's like, hey, I think they believe in me. They're going to find something, because they did it for Kyle Kirkwood, right? There wasn't a spot at the Andretti team. There wasn't a spot there yet, and there isn't right now. But they were able to find you something to where you will be able to be on the grid. Did that obviously had to make you feel good, because that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of just a whole combination of things to make an IndyCar seat happen. How did that make you feel to see that relationship develop to where it is now?
It's really cool. I mean, we started working with each other this year and created a bond, and I think it's been going so naturally, and they've been, taking me under their wings. And for me, obviously, everything was new this year, and to be a part of a team like that, that's really just taking care of me, and been working so well together is a good feeling. So knowing that, we can continue that in some sort, in some kind of way is a really good feeling. And obviously we've had such a good year, so it was really cool that we could continue that. But no, it's an amazing opportunity for me. I wouldn't be in IndyCar most likely if it wasn't for them helping me and really supporting me in my career going to that next step. So yeah, super grateful for it, and hopefully we can do something well with Dale Coyne this year, having that partnership. Not 100% sure how the support and how we're going to work together yet, but I'm sure we can help each other out and really make us both take a step forward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a really interesting year, and yeah. Through how we've been testing so far with Dale Coyne as well, it's been good, and gotten up to speed quickly. So yeah, I'm stoked for what's coming.
Do you know if Andretti is going to give you a race engineer, or are you going to be? Do you know if that's a situation yet, or is it just going to be more like hey, this is some data sharing, some equipment, some preparation stuff, or is it going to be like, hey, you're working with Michael Cannon? Because obviously Michael Cannon, great guy at Dale Coyne Racing for last year with Rinus VeeKay.
I mean, honestly, I don't really know which car I'm gonna be on yet. So
got it.
It's kind of right now we're all just working together as one team on that one car, and I think we'll figure out more once we get the second driver in. But for me right now, it's just creating a bond with everyone in the team. I'm not really caring about who I'm gonna be working with next year yet. I think we're all just working together to improve as a team. That's the main thing. And then just see where we end up. But yeah, not sure if we'll bring someone over from Andretti. I think at the moment we're just working with the guys at Dale Coyne and doing the work there, and then we'll see what's happening in the off season. We'll probably know more then, but yeah, we'll see. I've been working a bit with Michael now through the test day. He's a really smart guy, really good guy. He knows his stuff, so it's really cool to see how he works and how everyone works together as a team as well. It's kind of what you need to figure out in the off season as well to become and get a strong season. So I'm looking forward to it, and so far so good for sure.
Love it. Chase, I'm gonna let you jump in here.
Yeah, so you win the IndyNXT championship. How soon was it that you got the call that you were going to be going to Dale Coyne Racing? Did you know about this ahead of time? Did this all kind of come pretty quickly? And what all went down from that moment to now?
To be honest, we started chatting at Portland, and obviously a bit before that, I was talking with Rob and Dan and the guys at Andretti, how and if they can help and what we're gonna do going forward, if there's any plan. And then started chatting with Dale and the crew there, and by, I would say, Milwaukee, Nashville, it was kind of 99% sure. But no, it's been a lot of hard work throughout the year, and I've just had to keep, showing that I'm worthy of a seat, showing what I can do, especially on the ovals. It's been pretty new for me this year, so just show that I can do it on any track has been important as well. And then, in the end of the season, we got it confirmed. So I'm really happy about that, obviously. But that was, I wasn't sure how it was going to be. Obviously, there's quite a few contracts that's filled up for next year. And then suddenly now, stuff is moving around. But I'm really happy we managed to secure it and get it done. And obviously, it's a confidence and motivation boost for next year.
Yeah, you've definitely shown what you're capable of. I've watched some of your races this year, and with the IndyNXT series too. I feel like obviously we're all watching the IndyCar series start to grow and flourish, and you get to be a part of that now with this team and this new alliance. But on the IndyNXT side, you've raced with a lot of different names. Who are some guys that we really need to be paying attention to and watching over the next few years that could break into the IndyCar series from your experience on the track?
Oh, man. I think, obviously, thinking about my teammates, for sure, Lucky Hughes is one of the guys I think can have a really good season in 2026. I know the Andretti team believes in him as well. And, if he does well, it might be that, he gets the kind of support and the route that I'm taking right now. You never know, but in the end, you never really know. It's all about results in the end of the day, and you have to make it and you have to get it done. So we'll see how it goes. But I think there's quite a few names in IndyNXT in 2026 that can be interesting to watch. I know, for example, like Enzo Fittipaldi is one guy that's coming over from Europe that most likely will be in the IndyNXT series. It will be interesting to see if more guys from Europe comes over as well, and kind of taking that step. Which is cool, I think. So I think there's quite a few guys that can surprise next year. You got Max Taylor that was confirmed today. That's showing quite a few good things this year. And I think if he gets sort of the package a bit more together with experience, I think he can do some good things as well. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
There was a rumor at one point. I got asked about this at Milwaukee. They're like, so Dennis Hauger is going to Juncos, right? And I was like, whoa, hang on a second. Hang on a second here. I was like, this is people, some wild stuff floats out there on the internet. And,
trolls.
And I didn't know of this. And I was like, I don't think that's a Honda team. Like, I don't think that would really work, but it's just funny to see how the rumors start to fly, how things start happening. And then obviously today, literally as we record this today, Rinus VeeKay, who was at the team that you're with, is now, I guess, replacing me, which I found out. But has it been kind of surprising to see all the craziness that's gone on and basically the musical chairs that have happened? And thankfully, you got in one of the chairs sooner than really anyone else. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, mid-season, I thought no seats were going to change, to be honest, like maybe one or two max. And now it's just, silly season starting early, obviously with rumors, but we kind of knew already at that point that's the direction I want to go, which was with Dale Coyne and Andretti. And it's interesting to see how everything floats around. You know probably as well, like it's crazy. It's a lot of hard work getting everything set together as well in the off season. But it's obviously it was nice to get a seat early on and know what I'm gonna do. It's always a bit of a stressful off season when you're working towards something and you never really exactly know what you're doing until it's there fully 100%. But that makes me obviously a bit more calm and relaxed, knowing what I need to do and knowing where I'm gonna be for sure.
So tell us a little bit about, you've had 2 test days, so tell us what you think of the car so far. Obviously, you were fastest yesterday at the Indianapolis GP test, 7 cars, some other rookie drivers, young drivers there, and Mick Schumacher, which was kind of cool. That was a big story. But you were fastest. What have your thoughts been like so far with this car? Obviously, big and heavy, a bit of a beast to drive, but what do you think so far?
It's cool, man. I mean, I would say the driving style is not too far from IndyNXT. Like, there's some similarities, and that was a good feeling because I felt comfortable in the next car. Obviously, a lot more heavy, especially, I guess, now with the hybrid in the last couple of years. It's gained like 200 pounds. So
yep.
It's pretty heavy, but got a lot of power, a lot of downforce, and I really enjoyed it. It was like the first couple of laps was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And yeah, just getting more and more comfortable. I mean, it was good to get the first mid-Ohio test, getting to get a feel for the car. I had a bit of an incident actually there. Which
I heard, there were some photos that floated around the internet. Yeah. Hey, that happens. That happens.
Which wasn't optimal, but I mean, I found the limits. I got a feel for it, and it was still like the speed was there, which was a positive, which was the only thing I really focused on. And I just focused on that going into the test yesterday and kept working on the things I had to improve. And then we got to try quite a few things as well in setup, which was in the right direction. And to end the day on top, obviously testing is testing, but it's never a bad feeling, especially when we had ECR, which had some experienced drivers there as well. So it was a positive day and just taking it step by step, but feeling overall pretty comfortable. So that's always a good feeling.
So I have a very interesting question that's been a big point of discussion, and you literally just came from this world. But Colton Herta going to F2. Obviously, he's in the Andretti camp. Very good driver. What do you think he's going to be dealing with when he gets over there right out the gate? Do you think he's got a fair shot at it, depending on the team? Obviously, I think it's very team dependent because, again, I haven't been F2 in the F2 world in a while, so I think it's very team dependent from what we hear on the outside. But how do you think he's going to do? What do you think he can look at when it comes to just jumping in Formula 2 for a rookie year?
I think for me, the biggest thing for him would be the tires. I think in the end of the day, just how the tires work. It's such a different kind of process compared to the Firestones. They're really sensitive, and it can move so much from a race to another. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing. I mean, I think the F2 car is a bit slower than IndyCar for sure, but it's working. The working range on the tires and how the car behaves, it's really different. So that's going to be one thing. And obviously the tracks is going to be quite a few new tracks for him as well. So it's for sure going to be a challenge. I don't think it's something to take lightly, but I think he's got speed and he's got talent. And if anyone can do it, he can for sure. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I think it's a risky move for sure, but I think he's putting in the work, and they have a clear goal in mind, that's for sure. So it'll be really cool to see how he does. I'll for sure be cheering him on, and hopefully he can do well.
Yeah, me too. Chase, I'm going to let you get another one in here before we let Dennis go.
I'm sitting here and I'm noticing your cap, and I think you wear that cap a lot. So you're sponsored by Adidas, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. There's nothing more that I love. I grew up in the era of like big brands on race cars. Can we expect to see a Dale Coyne Adidas car at some point in 2026? And have you talked to him about maybe changing the slogan to "All Day I Dream About Speed"?
I mean, that would have been really cool. I don't know if it will happen, but I need to talk to the guys and see what's possible there. But that would have been really awesome. They came on board for this season, and looks like they'll be on board for 2026 as well. But yeah, just to wear that Adidas suit and be a part of a pretty legendary brand is really cool. So yeah, I'm proud to wear the cap and work with them.
All right, get the Post-it note and remember the slogan and
Yeah,
bring
I
that
will
to the
do,
next
yeah.
marketing meeting.
You need to send a couple of like emails from anonymous names as well, just to get the word
We'll
going.
work on it. I'll get on the agency board with you. We'll make it happen, dude.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? My rookie year at Dale Coyne Racing, I also wore an Adidas suit. Very
Let's
fun,
go.
very random. Adidas suit, shoes. Yeah, we had it all. That's very funny. Yeah,
Full circle
that's
moment.
great. Well, honestly, man, I think you're in a great spot. You're in a great position to be in. There's a lot of great people at Dale Coyne Racing. As I mentioned before this interview, I was talking to Dale Coyne today. I still talk to him. You know, one of my best seasons in IndyCar was still with Dale Coyne Racing because it was a great place to be as a rookie driver. And especially with that partnership with Andretti, these technical alliances are so important, it seems like, with teams. So I think that is super helpful. But let's look at one event that obviously is all separate from the rest, the Indy 500. When you look at the Indy 500, everything that goes on there, obviously you were there this year to probably check it out and see what's going on. What is your anticipation of what that is going to be like getting in for your rookie orientation for the very first time?
I don't really know what to expect, to be honest. I don't think you can know exactly what to expect when you get in there. I'm just looking forward to it. I don't have too many expectations. I looked at the race this year live. Before that, I've been watching it on TV since I was a kid, obviously, but just to be there live, see the race, it's just insane. Like, I talked to my manager after the race and I was like, I've never been on a track. I'm just been like mind blown of the atmosphere, the day itself. I don't really often get like that wow feeling. And just going into the track that day and seeing the race, it was pretty crazy. So I'm just looking forward to it, and I'm just going to sink it all in and enjoy it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to get a round on the oval for the first time for sure.
And what did you think of ovals this year? Obviously new to ovals, but did you enjoy them? Was it I would say a lot of people that come from Europe and they come from different disciplines, you know, even Shane Van Gisbergen in NASCAR, he's actually enjoyed getting to understand what it takes to be fast on an oval. And I was not an oval guy, but now ovals are my favorite, and I don't know why. But can you explain what that was like getting on an oval for the first time and what you think of them now?
I know why you love them, because you're freaking quick on them.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, I mean, for sure, I really enjoyed it this year. I think a lot of European drivers don't really know what's happening on an oval. It's, for most people, when you're looking at it, it's just like you're just turning left, and it's so much more to it than that. And that's been a really cool process of this year as well for me, getting to experience all the different type of ovals and just learning how it works, how you can really, especially for the races, that's been the biggest thing for me. Qualifying is kind of felt natural. But the races, how to push through the races, working with the air and the grip throughout the race, it's something that you can look at it, but you really just need to experience it and see how it feels in the end of the day. So I feel like I've just gotten quicker every race. Nashville was kind of my best race in terms of going up to the high line and third lane and really just getting those experiences. So for sure, it's been a good part of the year for me. And yeah, getting into an IndyCar on an oval is going to be probably insane, because I felt like IndyNXT was quick on the ovals. And I can just imagine the IndyCar, especially around like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I've been trying to look at the IndyCar races as much as possible to learn and to see, you know, how everything works. I'm just trying to get as much information as possible, but for sure it's a work in progress still for me. But this year was still not bad. We got 3 out of 4 podiums, so I'm not complaining. But for sure, there's a few steps to be made that I'm gonna keep working on.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you being here, man. This is it's good to actually chat, and we know that you're probably going to be real fast on the grid next year. I think you've shown a lot of speed so far, and IndyNXT champions have done quite well in IndyCar recently. So it all points to great things for you in the future. And I hope to be racing against you in the future. Who knows? I'm sure I'll be out there at some point, but it would be nice to get out there. So yeah, Dennis, we appreciate you being here, and all the best in whatever car number you're driving next year. We don't know yet, but whatever car number it is,
at least maybe an Adidas car.
Yeah, maybe an Adidas car.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you.
Thank you to Dennis Hauger for being a part of our show. Great to talk to him. Nice guy. Norwegians are fun. I assume, he's a young fella, but I assume he could probably have a great night out as well. Probably a fun guy to have a cold beverage with. But we'll see. Who knows?
I need to figure out more of his hobbies.
Maybe I'll hang out with him at some point. I don't know. So with that, we have covered a lot. There's been a lot that's gone on. Some crazy stuff today. And I hope you still continue to tune into this part of our show, because we're getting to a great segment. And it's called the Ricky Treadway Random Indy 500 Driver of the Week.
The greatest event of its kind that's ever been run on.
Let's meet the drivers. Who will make up the field?
And this week, we went all the way back. You know what's funny? We never used 1911.
Crazy.
The OG year of the Indianapolis 500. The start of it all, the history, and we're going to learn something about one of those drivers. We obviously know that Ray Haroon is the winner, or was he? Who knows how they kept timing and scoring back then on pieces of paper and pencils, number 2 pencils. Maybe stones.
Scorecard.
Yeah. But we decided to go with the runner-up finisher, the second place finisher for the very, very first Indy 500. Just think, if he would have won that race, we would know the man by the name of Ralph Mulford for forever. But it was instead Ray Haroon. Very, very cool story. Mulford was born December 28th, 1884 in Brooklyn, New York. And he finished second in the inaugural Indy 500, but contemporary newspaper accounts and substantiated research, including the Indianapolis Motor Speedway historian Donald Davison, have produced no credible evidence to support a claim to the contrary. There's an urban myth that Mulford, driving a Lozier, whatever that is, was the actual winner over Ray Haroon. But Mulford himself apparently never supported this claim, but there was a conspiracy. Apparently this was like very similar to Paul Tracy, Elio Castroneves in the Indy 500. Who won that race? You know what I mean? There's some debate, but I can't imagine what that debate would have looked like in 1911. What else did you find out about him, Chase?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now that I wasn't there in 1911, but I'm kind of starting to lean to maybe this urban myth is real. He was a Sunday school teacher.
Okay.
My Sunday school teacher never lied to me. So I who knows? So it's like, are you calling him a liar? Did he say he won? We don't know. I see that much about him, but also too, just, coming up in the Brooklyn area, I mean, he really looks like a dude straight out of The Great Gatsby. He's got a nice cap on. He's got his tie, his sweater vest. I almost wonder, what did they wear underneath the race suits back then?
I think they were just pants and shirts.
Pants and that's where my mind's at right now. I see this tie. He's sitting behind the wheel. I'm like, dude, did you race with a tie on? That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's it. A lot of Indy 500s for old Ralph. 1911, all the way through, obviously, the Great Depression years. We missed those. All the way through 1922. So quite a few Indy 500s. Best finish being second. He also got a third in 1916, which was really cool. So we learned something about Ralph Mulford, alleged winner, according to urban myths, but runner-up to Ray Haroon. All right,
Passed
we
away
appreciate
October 23rd, by the way. So his death date is coming up. He did pass away October 23rd in 1973.
Long life.
In Worcester, Massachusetts.
Love that. All right, folks. Well, we hope to have some information to share with you at some point, but this offseason, it seems to be we're strapping in for the long haul once again. It's going to be a difficult next couple weeks. Life has been slowly collapsing behind the scenes for myself, but there's a great future ahead. I fully believe in the next day could be the best day, and I'm going to continue to try to believe that. Tomorrow could be the best day ever. And I'm going to try not to think about the fact that if I ever won the lottery, I'd probably be 89 years old and die the next day. So that is not the mentality that we're going to go with. That's not our luck. We're going to change
don't
that.
do that.
So it's going to be great. We're going to have a great race this weekend. Definitely follow along. And then next week is a whole new week. So we appreciate you, and we'll see you in a week or so on Speed Street. Hey everyone, Connor Daly here. Please leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and also subscribe to the channel as well. That would be very helpful. Be a friend, tell a friend. Thank you so much for the support, and we'll see you on the next episode of Speed Street.